to a special edition of Smarknado. I keep saying special edition. It's just a regular edition of Smarknado.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Eric Druckman. With me, as always, the dirty Danaconda, Dan Sesnett. Dan, how are you doing this evening?
I'm I won't lie, I've had a rough week, man, just personally, but we won't, dig into that.
I did too,
All
and we won't dig into that for me either.
Yeah, it is what it is. Life happens, and you just gotta bounce back from adversity from time to time. But we're here to chat about wrestling and the like. But otherwise, man, pretty good. How about you in the wrestling world?
Oh, I've enjoyed what I've seen this past
Yeah,
week. I know you didn't see TNA, but I'll
yeah,
just say this right off the top of the show. Um, Definitely worth watching these days. I watched
yeah.
the very first show on Thursday. I'll
Uh-huh.
just keep it real uh, brief, but hot dog and a handshake match goes to Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay. It was phenomenal. The killer way to kick off the new TNA. And dude, I gotta say, like, think we're gonna have to fit in some TNA.
The unfortunate part there is Osprey is not gonna be wrestling TNA every week, right?
That's true,
Like,
but it's not to say that there aren't phenomenal work rate professional wrestlers that are in that promotion that can be very capable of putting on bangers every single week. But again, the only thing that was never holding back TNA was the talent. It was always
no,
just the creative and who was in charge. And I think that they're in a good place right now. And um, it's
I do too.
good stuff, man. So really encourage everyone to check out TNA.
Truly, I
But
don't do fuck all on Thursdays, so I might as well.
yeah, yeah, dude. Access TV if you guys
And
have it. If you
truthfully,
don't,
truthfully, Thursdays are my least favorite day of the week. So if TNA starts to pop off, that'll sort of fill that void that has existed since NWA Power went fucking tits up.
yeah,
So
absolutely, man. Um, but yeah, let's just talk about the most recent thing that happened as of this morning.
the biggest
Big,
news.
big announcement. I mean, I guess it was kind of a dual announcement. First of all, The Rock has been named to the board of directors of TKO. So he has
Yeah.
decision making ability now. Looks like they're going to definitely, most certainly, go in the direction of Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody here. Yeah, I know. I understand.
Sorry, I'm done. Go ahead.
My man, it's money. It's money. At the end of the day, they're a business.
It's
We all understand why they're
it's just
doing
not,
it as
it's just
pure
not for
wrestling.
me.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just not
not
for me.
for us as pure wrestling fans, though. Of course, I think the story is Cody is going to end up beating Roman, but it looks like it's just not going to be this year because we can't conceivably see The Rock beating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I don't think anyone can see that happening.
I
Um,
fucking hope not.
but I digress. The other news coming out of today is that very surprisingly, no cable rights deal for Raw, but they're coming on to Netflix in January 2025. This is just something I was not expecting, man. Netflix and Chokehold. Dan popped me with that one. But yeah, this is something that just kind of annoys me a bit, especially with the fact that
Really?
yeah,
Whew.
yeah, man. Because like
Okay.
in the last couple of years, with the exception of some select shows, like I Think You Should Leave, I think that Netflix has severely lacked in the content department relative to their price right now too. So like
I
I've kind of been over Netflix for the last couple of years. I don't think that
I'm gonna
they've been
disagree
doing.
with you on this, man. I think that what it is isn't that Netflix has bad content. They have really good content. The problem is everybody's got really good content, right?
Yeah,
So that to me is the problem there. You can go and get good content anywhere. But I'll tell you what, I just watched Fall of the House of Usher, and that was some of the best shit I've seen in a really long time, and that was on Netflix. So
yeah, that's
um
just not really for me. But I can see how it's all subjective as far as what
sure.
content you enjoy on Netflix. But
Mhm.
yeah.
I think it's great for wrestling, man. I think it's a new era. I think it's crazy. Like it can't be understated how much Nick Khan has done for WWE in so many ways. And this is just another thing to me.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. I think it'll hopefully it's commercial free ish. The only issue I see for this in the future is the model that they're ultimately. And again, I don't know shit, but if I was a smart betting man, which maybe I am, I don't know. They're probably going to go to a ESPN Plus style pay per view model, which I don't know that is going to go over well with a lot of fans.
No,
that have been getting
not.
PLEs for free for a long time. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to see come March 2026.
Dude, that makes me even more nervous because the absurd pricing of UFC pay-per-views. I constantly question why people go out and spend that fucking money on them, especially when a lot of the fights are 3 seconds or they're just fucking hugging each other the whole time, but that's a separate rant about UFC I could get into. But anyway, I don't want to have to pay a fucking arm and a leg for a WWE pay-per-view.
I'm already paying for AEW and I don't want to. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's not that I don't want to. I want to. It's that I can't fucking afford it, right? Like I can't afford to buy a pay-per-view every month. It's just not in my budget. Or 2 pay-per-views some months. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's not a model that's going to work in that regard. But I do think that it is something that is interesting, and it's the first time that wrestling is going to be live on a streaming service. So what does that mean for the industry on a whole? Interesting.
Yeah, man. I mean, NFL is already putting up football games on Peacock and Prime and stuff like that. So it's not crazy surprising. It was an eventual thing that wrestling was going to go the way of a lot of sports have at this point.
And fuck, man, they got $5 billion for it. And Netflix comes out huge on this because from what I've perused about their deal is they have an opt-out after 5 years and an option for another 10 after the first 10. So they could have Netflix or they could have WWE Raw for the next 20 years.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Netflix. So I don't know. It's interesting. I want to see where it goes. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out, man. But yeah, I think that. Did you want to talk more about Netflix and WWE?
Well, I think that the one thing that's important to remember here is if they're getting $5 billion, that's a lot of contract money.
Absolutely. 100%, man. And I think that it's only appropriate that we go to the next prevailing popular topic right now in terms of WWE. And first of all, just to backtrack, Okada has left New Japan Pro Wrestling. But the hottest rumor coming out of this is that he is most certainly going to be going to WWE. A lot of people have made that claim. I don't feel like it's confirmed. I don't feel like it's confirmed until Sean Ross Sapp says yes. He's one of the few guys that I really trust.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of guys out there that tend to be right and are pretty trustworthy. Him being one of them. I don't know, man. I don't think it's a lock. I think it's a really good fit. I just don't think it's a lock.
Yeah.
I think AEW is still a major player, and I think if TNA gets there, they could be too.
You see, honestly, man, if I had to choose between AEW and TNA for Okada, I would go with TNA because I think that it's too crowded up top in AEW. I think that there's just too many guys that they've been building that they want to finish the story with. People like Swerve, they're building back up Hangman. They already have like a really set roster, and I think
I
that
agree.
if Okada was going to go to TNA, that would really put them over the top again as being a major player in wrestling.
I agree.
Just having him up there, just pushing him as the top guy. But again, you know, the biggest rumor here is that he is going to be going to WWE. I've heard from a couple different outlets that there is a possibility that he could go to NXT, which I find to be a bit absurd.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to think that.
Somebody like him who has main evented 8 or 9 Wrestle Kingdoms, he does not like they can take him to the Performance Center and teach him how to use hard cam and stuff like that. And they want to teach him how to, you know, play to television in house. I think that's much more worth it than sending him to NXT just because, like, this guy is an iconic figure. It is a little bit different from when Nakamura came over to WWE, just because, like, yeah, Nakamura was a big star in New Japan, but he's not arguably like the top 3 all time stars coming out of New Japan.
Top 10 maybe. Top 10.
Yeah. But Okada is just like a generational talent and has done so much at this point. It would truly be a slap in the face if he went to NXT. I mean, if AJ went to NXT, didn't have to go to NXT, there is absolutely no reason why Okada doesn't have to go to NXT. Right?
I would argue that AJ was more well known to American audiences now.
To American audiences, but like his merit as a professional, I would say that they were pretty even.
American audiences is all that WWE cares about. They've proven that they don't care about the past and where you've been before. They won't even mention another company as existing. So you think that they care about that? Nah.
I don't know, man. I think that it's with a new regime in there with Triple H. I think that he puts a lot more credence to the smart fans that are out there. And even a lot of casual fans have at least heard the name Okada before. So
I think a lot less than you think have. I'm just being real with you. And I love Okada. I'm not
He's been on AEW. It's not like they haven't been exposed to him at all.
Okay. I mean,
you know,
NXT is a full on fucking bitch slap in the face. That's five across the eyes. Like, there's no if they sign him, he is gotta be on SmackDown, gotta be on Raw. But I don't know, man. My gut is telling me it's not actually going to happen. That he's going to end up in AEW or TNA. I really think that.
I don't know, man. I think he is going to end up in WWE. You've heard it here first between the two of us, what we both think. But I think that he is going to go to WWE, and I think that this entire 6 months of focusing on Nakamura's character and making him, like, you know, an important character on television was really there to woo Okada and show him that they do not mistreat Japanese talents like they once did. So we'll see how it plays out, man. He's going to America, that's for sure.
I mean, I'll watch him wherever he goes. He's a talent worth watching, and if they fumble him in WWE, it'll be really, really upsetting. But I won't. I'll try not to think that way. I'll try to think that, you know, wherever he goes, he'll be successful.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So speaking of WWE, we got some really devastating news last night. Well, I guess over the weekend we did, but it came to light more on Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins comes to the ring with tears in his eyes. He announces that he is going to need surgery. It's going to require about 3 to 4 months of rehab for his knee. So, you know, he sent the message, you know, people would assume from the message he was giving that he was going to miss WrestleMania, but he was pretty adamant that he is not going to miss WrestleMania. He doesn't care what the doctors are going to say. I like that. I think that's very on brand for Seth Rollins.
So he's definitely going to miss WrestleMania.
I don't know, man.
He's saying he's not, so he definitely fucking is, right? Like,
why
I'm not trying to be
negative.
I
wouldn't drop that conclusion at all.
Brother, I'm just saying that Nick Chubb has the exact same injury that Seth Rollins has, and that man is going to be out for over a year.
Wait, Nick Chubb didn't tear his ACL?
ACL, MCL, and his meniscus.
Yeah, but like Seth didn't tear his ACL. It's a like a partial. It's a torn MCL and a partially torn meniscus. It's a little bit different. It's not a torn ACL. He didn't say it was a torn ACL.
I don't know.
It's not the exact same injury.
He didn't come out and relinquish it, so maybe, but like, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna be optimistic for something like that. It just doesn't sound good. And his history of knee problems doesn't make it any better to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I want him on WrestleMania, but
this is a bummer. This is definitely like a speed bump in the road to WrestleMania. I think that from last night, everything that we got, Gunther comes in the ring and confronts Rollins, and I thought that was a really good moment right there too. Yeah. I think that's a scene of things to come. Gunther being in the main event, we just kind of have to figure out a way to get that Intercontinental title off of him. But yeah, just definitely a left turn in the road to WrestleMania.
It sucks for the rest of the Royal Rumble card too, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, because that card only has 4 matches and 2 of them are the men's and women's Royal Rumble.
I think it's pretty dope this year that the Royal Rumble, they've only announced like a handful of names for the men's and women's Rumble, and it's just going to bring that element of surprise to every entrant that's going to come out. I think that was a really good call on their behalf. I think that of the guys that they have announced for the men's Royal Rumble, and that includes Drew and CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, and I may be missing more, but those are the 3 most prominent. They all have a very distinctive story going into the Royal Rumble. Lashley, right? Of guys that really need this title match, and they have so much to lose by losing the Rumble. I think that coming out of last night too, we can expect, at least I would think, a Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk match at WrestleMania. Don't you think, Dan?
Yeah. And do I love it? Not necessarily. I don't know.
Dude, here's the thing is like, yeah, on the surface, I saw that, they were going to have a face-to-face. I was like, what is this about, really? But once they got cooking with their promos and they went back and forth, and Punk told that story about how Dusty Rhodes called him up and asked to keep an eye on Cody when Cody started at Ohio Valley Wrestling. It was good storytelling, especially also with Punk saying that he's more of an American dream than Cody is. So they brought me to the box office to see their match from their promo. I think that it was successful, man. I think you need to give it a chance. Okay. I think that they can build something really good, and if coming out of this, if we get a heel CM Punk against a babyface Cody Rhodes, I think that's really good shit.
I've just not been impressed with CM Punk's run in WWE so far. It just kind of seems rinse and repeat, and he's not even really wrestling. I don't know. It just hasn't been anything that's jumped off the page to me.
Well, he hasn't. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that's not to say that it's not gonna get better. I don't know, man. Like this version of CM Punk, and truly, even since he's been in AEW, has just been the same thing every single week. Like it's not there's no stories really being built for him other than I'm talking shit to you, you're talking shit to me. Like, I don't know, man. I haven't been digging it, and it's not. I'm not being a CM Punk hater when I say any of this, right? It's not what I'm doing. I'm just not invested in it. There's just something that hasn't clicked for me because him coming back to wrestling in AEW was the big moment, right? So WWE, the moment creating company, lost that opportunity, right? So now they're just kind of doing the same shit that AEW did with him. I don't know. I'm just not sold yet. Opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that when we see how everything plays out during the Rumble, it's going to be really interesting. And
I mean, neither of those guys are going to get their Rumble or their Mania main event again this year, which is kind of hilarious to me. But it's whatever.
yeah, I mean, it's The Rock, man.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do?
The power is it's powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm fucking over Roman Reigns as champ. We're gonna get another year of it. Another year of the same fucking segments on SmackDown all the time.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm not convinced that we are living in a completely post Vince McMahon world, right? Like I know he's not around, obviously, but you could still see how strong his influence is in that regard, especially when it comes to the main event scene, right? So it's just it's an unfortunate thing. It's a stink that is not going away anytime soon, unfortunately.
Well, regardless, I thought that they had a really good promo segment back and forth, and if it heats up to them having a feud at WrestleMania for WrestleMania, I really think it can work, especially if they position Punk as a heel, because as you and I know, that is where he is at his best game.
Yeah, that's the dollars of that for sure, for sure.
Right.
No doubt about it. It makes total sense because Cody is that massive baby face, especially he just got the 2K4 cover or whatever for WWE.
Yeah.
And Bianca and Rhea as well, which is excellent for all of them involved. Really, very cool. So and that is the money with Punk being the shitty heel. So
for sure, man. So yeah, I mean the Rumble is looking really good coming up on Saturday. And
yes. Can I say something that I'm super excited about? And we said wash the stink off of Vince off the place, but I'm just going to be the one to bring this here quick topic up because it's super exciting to me. But my man, the bruiserweight, Pete Dunne is back.
Hell yeah.
And this to me, my friend, is as excited as I've been in a really long time. So truthfully, if not only do they give me Pete Dunne back and they give me Okada, I might be a WWE guy again, or at least I might give them a heck of a shot because those are two things that would definitely interest me. So
yeah, man, and I think that this is going to be a build back for Pete Dunne to make him a lot more credible again. And ideally, what I would like to see is him possibly be the guy to take the Intercontinental title off of Gunther. That'd be a great, awesome full circle moment, considering the fact that Gunther, then known as Walter, was the one to take the UK title off of Pete Dunne versus in his historic reign as UK champion. Returning the favor on the main roster. So, and on top of that,
it's believable too because they have that history. It's so believable.
On top of that, bolstering the tag team division in WWE, we now have British Strong Style back. We have Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne. It's awesome.
So tell me what you think about this scenario, right? And I don't know if Pete Dunne, and sorry to interrupt, but my brain is working and I think it really would help, right? So we have, Gunther doing his thing with Seth Rollins, right? But why not have Pete Dunne be the one that ultimately eliminates
Gunther
from the Rumble, kicking off that feud?
I think that's a great call, man.
Why not? You want to
Yeah.
make him big. You imagine
And it would be
doing
like Gunther saw like a ghost from his past after he gets
yeah.
eliminated.
Yeah, like imagine like the vice versa of Pete Dunne having this historic UK reign going to Walter, and then Walter having this historical IC reign and it going
Yeah,
to Pete Dunne, and
exactly.
building these two amazing titles would be just absolutely incredible. I'm pumped up. I'm hyped. I really want to see it. I'm gonna go watch that match again tonight, I think.
And cry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, I was a fan of Walter at the time, but you know, we got our people, and it was time, and
Yeah.
a more deserving guy was there not, and Walter did his damn thing, so I'm not mad at it.
Damn right, man. Only good things to happen though with the Bruiserweight now being on SmackDown. I feel like this is just such a big boost to that whole brand, and who knows, man? Maybe he's going to challenge Logan Paul and beat Logan Paul for the US title. Who knows?
God, that would be.
I think we're probably going to get LA Knight versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania, though, don't you think?
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
LA Knight wins the US title at WrestleMania. That makes sense.
Yeah,
That would be a big pop. That I like that thought process for sure.
for sure. But yeah, Pete Dunne being back is pretty big, man. Other than that, what else has happened in WWE?
Nothing that I know off the top of my head. I mean, we're getting the Fatal 4-Way come Royal Rumble this weekend. I mean, we'll do a Rumble preview this before Saturday, I'm sure. So I guess we don't really need to talk about that. Not a heck of a lot more that I can think of, really.
Yeah, me neither, man. So let's move on. Anyway, got a pretty big Dynamite tomorrow night.
Yeah. I'm excited for it, man. And it's one of those weird. And I think this was one of those fake match graphics that was made way back when. But we're getting Suzuki versus
Adam
Copeland, and that's just fucking wild to me, man. Like, how is that even like? And all of these are just wild ass matches, right? Like Jeff Hardy versus Swerve Strickland.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Hardy versus Swerve Strickland. What? I mean, I fully expect Swerve just to run through Jeff Hardy. But
I fucking hope so.
Just going back to it, man, Suzuki versus Adam Copeland, you want to talk about a match that we never in a million years ever thought that we would see, you know?
It's a fever dream.
Yeah.
It's a full-on fever dream. I don't get it, but I love it. Well, I wouldn't love a fever, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like, so I'm just wondering, like, is Copeland really going to throw strikes with Minoru Suzuki? Like, is he going to work that style? Because
I think he has to.
I don't know if he's ever done anything like that before, man. Can you think of anybody that he's been in the ring with like that?
Yeah, Sheamus hits him pretty hard. Sheamus has hit him pretty hard.
Yeah, Sheamus does hit really hard.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, you can't say that you've experienced something like Minoru Suzuki because no one is like Minoru Suzuki, but Sheamus hits pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, he does. Doubt. You're right.
And Cesaro. But yeah, this card is dope. I am really looking forward to the face-to-face between Tony and Deonna Purrazzo. Tony has just been absolutely crushing it the last couple of weeks. Do you think
that's going to be? Is that in the ring or is that going to be a backstage? Does it say?
Either way, I hope it's in black and white.
Half black and white.
Yeah.
I just want Tony to be in black and white. That's
It's
this match is gonna pop off though, man, and I hope it's at Revolution, because if this is like, I'm telling you, man, this card that's shaping up for Revolution for us is wild, because we're getting Orange Cassidy versus Roddy. We're gonna get some variation, I'm assuming, of a triple threat with Hangman, Swerve, and Joe, which is gonna fuck. Then we're gonna get Sting's last match where the heel Bucks are gonna fucking bump for 65-year-old Sting for 15 minutes. That's gonna be awesome. Deanna and Tony. This card's gonna fuck around and be a card of the year candidate, and we're gonna be there, bro. Like,
Yeah, dude.
that's
We're
exciting
probably
shit.
gonna get Danielson versus Kingston too.
Probably gonna get Danielson versus Kingston in some shape,
It's gonna
form, or
be
fashion.
really hard for me. I guess I'm just gonna cheer for both of the guys. I'm gonna cheer for Danielson for the fact that this is probably the last time I'll ever get to see him live.
Yep.
But he's gonna be working really hard to get people to hate him.
Yeah, and he's gonna do a great job of it. We're probably gonna get the Acclaimed versus Bang Bang Gang, which should be good. I don't know, man. I'm super excited for this whole thing.
For sure, it's gonna be great. And hopefully a good TBS title match too.
Yeah, I don't know which way that's going, but we'll see.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and fucking Ospreay. Fuck.
Oh my God, Ospreay's debuting. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Sorry, I just keep forgetting how good Revolution's going to be, and I get giddy.
But who would you like to see as a first match for Will Ospreay?
That's an interesting thought. You could really play it so many ways. He could be, Copeland would be really interesting. I think it would be really good.
That's an interesting thought. I don't hate that either. I think that for me, what I would like to see is a course correction with Will Ospreay, make him a baby face because people are going to cheer him when he first, when he's actually a member of the AEW roster. Have him be at odds with the Don Callis family and have his first match be against Takeshita, because I think that match will rock the fucking world.
I think that while that plays out in a scenario that I completely agree with, him coming in at Revolution is not enough time to build that story. So to me, with Copeland doing this open challenge thing, it fits, right? It fits because he doesn't need a story. It's a huge first time ever sort of dream match, if you want to say it, which is a term thrown around probably too loosely, but it is. And then from there you build up that feud with Takeshita and the Callis family. So
I like that even more, man. And I think that it would be smart of them just to have the Copeland go undefeated until that night where he faces Ospreay. And I think Ospreay will be the first one to beat Adam Copeland.
And it's obvious, but who's going to get pissed off when Cope is out there is like, who's next? And fucking Ospreay's music hits. Like, everybody's going to know and nobody's going to give a shit. They're going to scream their faces off. Like, it's going to be incredible. So I don't know. Whatever he does, he's going to do it big, and he's got years ahead of him, man. I ain't worried about any of it. I'm just excited to be a part of it. And like I said, I think that this is, again, a little biased, but this is shaping up to be card of the year so far. If all plays as it should.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Fuck, man. You want to talk about long time coming? One of our favorite wrestlers on Smarknado finally got signed by AEW this week. The Bounty Hunter, Brian Keith. We're going to be hearing Still Tipping a lot, man.
No, he's got his own music.
Oh, he's got his own music now?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure they got a different music, which is unfortunate because it would be great to hear that every single week. I don't know that he's gotten a graphic, and I don't know that it's necessarily been announced, but it's been reported.
Yeah.
So we're going to just, because fuck it.
He's been low-key AEW signing in the same way that Megan Bain has.
Yeah, which is a whole other thing.
And Aminata too. Aminata didn't get a graphic yet.
Yeah, Aminata is just out of this world. I can't say enough about what she's done. If you look at the position they put her in, as far as who she's faced at this point, they trust her with everything. Because they put her with Thunder, they put her with Deanna. She's probably going to be the one that wrestles deep when she first comes back. Like, that's sort of her position, and she's taken these L's, sort of like Sky Blue did for a while. And I think,
completely forgot Serena Deeb's coming back, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
dude,
I think that her promos have been great. Like,
and Megan Bain, man, is done with her excursion. That women's division is cooking.
hell yeah.
Like,
And
honestly,
Mercedes,
man,
we're expecting Mercedes to be there, you know.
think about how crazy that division is if they can book it right.
Mm-hmm.
It's absurd.
For sure. Absolutely, man. Can't fucking wait for that. And I think that another thing that's really worth mentioning is that unfortunately we lost an OG of WCW Monday Nitro today. RIP to Ice Train, big ass motherfucker. I gotta
Big
say, it's one of
old,
the biggest chests I've ever seen.
literally looks like a refrigerator.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
wasn't called Ice Train for no reason.
Him
Big
and
old
Scott
dude.
Norton were a tag team together known as Fire and Ice, and they were just the biggest chests I've ever seen on two dudes, and they happened to be teaming with each other. Just so, you
That was
know,
some beef
maybe
slamming.
not the most technically sound professional wrestler, but as a child watching WCW Nitro, he was certainly someone that I saw that I was like, oh my God, who is that?
Dude,
He
we
looks
didn't
like,
start watching wrestling for technical wrestlers. We began
yeah.
to love them. But that wasn't the thing, and it always makes sense. Vince McMahon had a thought process at the time, man. That's what we watched for. We watched
Mhm.
for big old personalities like Stone Cold and big larger than life dudes like
Yes.
the Lugers or the Ice Trains, if you will. You know what I mean? These big giant, larger than life characters, and yeah, he was a specimen, dude. That dude,
Mhm.
big time.
And it's really sad too. I saw that as recently as like a year ago, he was hanging out with DDP. Him and DDP were close friends with each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, R.I.P. Ice Train. Thanks for
Yes,
the
sir.
memories, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but Dan, unusually short show this week. I think that's really all we got right now. But yeah, we're gonna be back later in the week to preview the Royal Rumble, and yeah, I'm really excited for all the wrestling.
Yeah, I am super pumped for the Royal Rumble. As fans of the show know full well that it is always my favorite pay per view of the year. So I'm pretty hyped to check it out this weekend. And just a little tidbit I want to remind you guys of. Fuck Hulk Hogan and his bullshit ass promo that he cut. And
Yeah, no one cares about 40 years of Hulkamania.
yeah, like literally, I hope I saw this, and this is not mine, but I'm stealing it. If he wants to come out on Royal Rumble, give him the Ultimate Warrior treatment, and maybe he'll die the next day. Truthfully, I don't care. Fuck that man. And stay fresh, cheese bags.
Whew, keep watching wrestling.